Hello, New York University. I'm going to talk to you about my first internship experience in the summer of 2010 with Wells Fargo Home Mortgage and how it challenged me and why it attracted me to finance. It was my first exposure to a professional work atmosphere and my first exposure to the financial services industry. So it was difficult for me to adjust to that kind of environment at first, because I was just used to being a student and being on campus and being in class. So, of course, it was tough too, because I was spending a lot of time learning new terminology and new concepts of the home mortgage division. And it was difficult to keep a handle of all the new material, but I kept immersing myself until gradually I became more comfortable. And when I started working on projects, I needed to use a lot of computer programming. I had taken a class on C++ as an undergraduate, but I was required to learn a couple new languages at my internship in SAS and SQL. The projects I worked on were much more sophisticated than what I was used to in academia, because the data sets were very big and there were a lot of imperfections. Whereas in school, generally the example data sets were neat and easy to work with and easy to manipulate. So while I was at work, it forced me to kind of think outside the box a little bit and not rely solely on textbook knowledge. It was also tough trying to integrate the new terminology and the new concepts into the new programming languages and jumping into projects on top of that. So to supplement my work, I began attending classes in SAS programming at UC Berkeley's summer session, and I think the increased exposure to the material definitely helped me along, and it definitely sped up my progress in learning the new languages and being able to contribute quicker. The first project I worked on was analyzing two sets of home mortgage accounts and getting records where people were delinquent on their payments for more than 6 months, and getting records in which people had children in their household, and merging the two files together, and then basically outputting a file which would list people with both children and were delinquent on their home mortgage payments for more than 6 months. And the output of that file would be used by another member on my team who would do further manipulation on the data set. But the overarching goal of the project was to forecast the probability of having to declare home mortgage payments unlikely to be collected based on delinquency and number of children data. And that's just an example of a typical project I worked on. But overall, the first month of my internship was very difficult because I was trying to learn as quick as possible, and I was trying to contribute on projects because I didn't want to spend my whole time there just learning and not being able to do any work. But I never felt discouraged because projects were exciting to work on, even though it was tough to get them to work sometimes. It required a lot of critical thinking and teamwork, and it certainly wasn't mundane. So I was looking forward to going to work every day and working on my project with my other team members. And I was also working on something that was relevant, that news reporters talked about on TV, that I would read about in the newspaper. So it was certainly exciting to be a part of that. And I know in quantitative finance, many of the projects I'll be working on are going to be similar in nature, if not amplified. And that's exactly what I want to do with my career. So although my first internship experience was tough, at the end it solidified my interest in finance, and it was a good experience. So I hope you learned a little bit about me in this video. Good luck in making your selections, and thanks for watching.